Well, hello and good afternoon. Um, if you do the math, you can see I've been in IT for let's just say a number of years. I've seen a time when there were absolutely no PCs, no personal computers, no laptops, only dumb terminals sitting on employee desks to now when people must have a desktop, a laptop, something electronic to do their daily work. I have also been very fortunate to have worked on several large and complex IT projects. Next. So our agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about some history. I'll give you a history lesson, and then we'll move to the present. Next. So about IoT. So in 2005, the Indiana Office of Technology was created to provide a cost-effective, secure, consistent, reliable enterprise technology services to state government. IoT offers more than 120 technology products and services. They're all supported by expert staff with licenses or certifications in 62 technical areas. We have our IoT service catalog listing all the products and services we offer. And in addition, we had department briefs. It's a one-pager which lists the various roles and responsibilities in each department. Next. So project management and IoT, a little history on that. I was hired in 2008 as a senior IT project manager, or as I tell people, the only IT project manager in the midst of this wild, wild IT West. So at that point in time, IoT's leadership view of project management and project managers. Project managers were a taskmaster. They chased people down to make sure that they did their assigned task. It's like, hey, a project's not going well, so let's get a PM. Or I heard, we're now ready to implement or roll out our solution, so I need a PM. And mainly, their view of primary role for a project manager was to keep the customer happy. And I can tell you that's hard to do when you're telling a customer that their deadlines are unrealistic or they're not following the state IT standards or security policies. So there were several calls to the CIO about me, but we worked through it. They learned what a project manager actually is supposed to do. So we also had some sparse documentation. I did create charters, but signatures were not mandatory, and most agencies even refused to sign as they don't want to be held accountable to that scope. There may be a lot of changes and they are just like, no, I'm not signing. So other documentation are requirements documents, are design documents. So they were very iffy and led to wasted time and money, half implemented solutions, and a lot of rework. So there also, throughout the entire state agencies, there wasn't a common PM framework. And in IoT and in the other agencies as well, it was like there was no resource management. it was not transparent of who was working on what. And so, but really from people I speak to or spoke to back then, these issues were very commonplace in organizations, but we needed it fixed. So next. Around 2014, we had a leadership change, and the new leadership that come in realized that we had a problem and we needed to change. Our first step we took was creating our mission, vision, and goal statements. And we used the definitions for those in the slide. Next. So our mission, vision, and goals that we created, we agreed upon the mission of the IoT Project Success Center is to organize, execute, and deliver a quality product or service for the state of Indiana using industry best practices and a structured framework. Our vision is a vision that I've yet to achieve. We did achieve that IoT's PMO is a model for the different agencies if they want to start a PMO or looking to start a PMO. They do come to us now and ask us about our what we did, how we come about, kind of the same thing that I'm telling you. They want to look at our templates, use our instance. So we're happy that we have that. Hopefully by the time I retire, which is not too far off, we may become the state's enterprise PMO. Next. So we did some tailoring of the organizations and of course a lot of tailoring to our processes. So in the beginning, the project management team consisted of mainly senior level PMs. So we needed the strong PMs to be able to hit the ground running. We went from 1 PM, me, to 12. So we also made these organizational changes. We formed what's called a PPRB, which is a project and portfolio review board. The board consisted of 5 CXOs who actually became the decision makers and asked questions about the project requests that were coming in. And this PPRB, we still meet even today, the first Monday of each month. What really happened to make the most impact were the PMs becoming strategic partners to the executive staff. So I became an executive and I sit at the executive table. So that really helped because I'm able to sit at that table and share to the executive staff what's going on with the projects, resource issues, etc. Next. So preparing to implement a PPM tool, you need to really do your due diligence. You need to be prepared. You need to get buy-in from the top down. And don't forget those functional resource managers, because it's their staff who will more than likely be making up your project teams. So keep them informed every step of the way. Vendor selection, this is extremely important. And just because someone says they know how to implement Project Online or a PPM tool, that just doesn't mean that they know how to implement that PPM solution and how that should work through the entire project life cycle. So make sure that you get a qualified vendor such as PROJILITY, and really work with that vendor and become business partners. So also, when you meet with your vendor of choice, you need to be able to hand them your design and your requirements, and you need to go from there. And they can help you say, well, you know, what about doing this? What about doing that? So at IoT, we were extremely lucky to have an employee who had Project Online and PPM implementation experience. So he really helped us to get prepared to work with the vendor, ProJility, and he currently is our PPM administrator. And we have also trained another PM to be his backup. And as a very important as the administrators to have PM experience. They know, you know, what a PM needs. They know the phases, the processes of doing project management. Next. So on your build out, you want to run your implementation as you would any large project. You make sure your plan supports your vision and goals. You make sure you partner with your vendor. I feel that the PSC have formed a great business relationship with Rob and his team. You want to make sure to keep all the stakeholders involved and updated. As Jennifer said, you communicate, communicate, communicate. So if you have a company newsletter, I found that that was a good way to put in, put your updates in as well. Next. So when your PPM is fully built, that's when we started doing initial training because we didn't want to train too soon. We wanted to make sure that the resources can use the tool during and after training. And it's very important to conduct pilots and scenario-based trainings. Next. So follow-on development. We started at a project level on reporting and dashboards, and we have now developed portfolio reports and informational reports that you, all you really need to do using Power BI is to keep up your schedule, your status information page, your project information page, and then everything is pulled from those and it's pulled into your dashboard and your reporting. So I highly encourage my PMs, and I suggest that you encourage your project managers to learn about the various features and functions of your PPM solution, make it part of their annual goals. I have a lot of goals that this is how we got to where we are today with all these reports. So just to make sure that you continue to grow and improve and mature. Next. Okay, that's all I have for today, and thank you for your time.